Did you gain weight? Who'd you vote for? We all know that person who asks these types of questions, but who wants to talk about that during the holidays? You know someone's going to ask you these questions over dinner. So author Eric Bailey is joining us this morning with how to avoid these topics. Eric, good morning to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, the holiday time is a time where people get together and they want to talk. And this year, more than any other year, there's a lot of difficult and powerful things to talk about where, you know, we want to survive the holidays and make sure we don't ruin those relationships.
Right.
So I'd love to talk about that.
Okay, so at the holidays, obviously we are doing smaller groups, but even the Zoom conversations can get awkward. Your family should be your safe space to be able to just say what you feel, but sometimes that's not the best idea. So if you start, you're seeing that, like I like to say, yellow light situation come your way, what do you do?
So first and foremost, we need to understand that everyone has a different point of view, and that's because we see the world differently. Actually, I want to show you a little exercise to get started to help illustrate that. And so if you look at this picture here, we've got this kind of intertwined web of circles here. And let's let that represent our worldview, our mental model. And sometimes people see things differently. So even looking at this, I look at this and I don't see intertwined circles. I actually see 4 concentric circles. So 4 circles inside of one another. And the crazy thing about is when something like this happens, we tend to look at each other and say, how could you possibly see that? How could you possibly think about the dress or the Laurel Yanny thing? And sometimes we perceive things differently than everyone else does. And when that happens, what we do is we say there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with your character. You can't see properly. But when you look a little deeper, you can start to see that maybe there might be another way of seeing things outside of the way that we see things. And so if you hold both of those ideas possible, you can start to see that maybe, just maybe, that it's possible to see these things as more than the way we saw it originally.
You know, some may think, oh, let this be a teaching moment for them to hear how my generation sees it. But we probably should just say, pass the potatoes, please.
Yeah, because, you know, everyone, when you think about these kinds of conversations, they're going to come up about politics or about, you know, civil rights, 2020, all of these things. People are going to kind of want to come in and try to win these conversations. Well, the problem is if you're trying to win a conversation, you're trying to make them a loser, and you've never changed anyone's mind by making them a loser. Like think about how often we try to do that in debates or whatever. And so think about, allow them to have their own opinion, allow them to have their own ideas, and don't try to change their mind, because you're not likely going to do that. What you're going to do is ruin that relationship, which honestly matters more than anything.
Well, we've got some bullet points here on how to avoid these touchy topics. You want to run through those for us?
Yes, absolutely. You know, listening to the other person is really important, because when you're trying to win, it's actually triggering this stress response, or what psychologists call the fight or flight or freeze response. And if you pause and listen, just try to understand them, it actually calms your cortisol, it calms your whole body. You know, understanding that disagreement does not mean the end of the world. It's okay to have different opinions, like just with the circle and the intertwined circles and the concentric circles. It's okay to think differently. And then finally, saying I don't know is kind of been this taboo phrase, because we need to be smart. We need to be intelligent. We need to say the right things. But if you don't know something, it's okay to say I don't know, because it actually puts you in a position of wanting to learn from somebody else. And that power change makes them more likely to want to engage with you on a human level.
Also, stay out of the kitchen, or no, rather get out of the kitchen. Tell me what does get out of the kitchen mean?
Yeah, when it gets hot, get out of the kitchen. You start to feel your blood pressure rising. You start to feel yourself elevating. You know that you're probably not going to respond the way you want to. And so when it gets hot, get out of the kitchen. Like just say, hey, I need to pause the conversation. Let's talk about this later.
You know what? You know, that dog over there needs to be pet. I think I'm going to go pet that dog.
Exactly.
Eric, thank you so much. Thanks for spending Christmas Eve with us. We appreciate you, and thanks for the great information.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.